A couple, William and Ava, hide in an apartment after the Earth is hit by a comet releasing ashes containing viral strains that infect females. Some people wearing protective kits come over to inspect their house, but Will hides her under the bed and talks to them. When they ask about Ava, her name is on the lease with him. He replies she was in England when it all happened and never came back. The team starts inspecting his house. Upon their question about the protective measures, he says he built the quarantine for Ava, hoping she would come back. When one of them asks about the medical kit, he says it's for him because he's also the carrier. He managed to dodge them, but right before they leave, they discover he is hiding as a girl as they spot the samples of an infected person, but does not take her as they think she won't survive long enough. After the team leaves, Ava asks Will they should pack their stuff and move. Eve remembers the good times they spent in the house, but they have to leave it now. As they get in the car and look around, everything in the city is destroyed. Roads are empty with no human around. They hear an announcement which informs them about the curfew and instructs the citizen to stay indoors and keeping all the doors and windows closed to avoid any interaction with the ashes. Females are instructed to report to the nearest settlement. Before stepping out of the car, Will instructs her to cover up so no one will know she is a woman. They get into the store and start picking up some stuff. The owner spots Ava, but Will points a gun at him while threatening not to tell anyone. Back in the car, he shouts at Ava for being careless. The next cut shows the past where Ava used to live with her friend named Carleon and her boyfriend William. One day, the TV airs the news about a comet that's supposed to pass close to the Earth, but they don't pay attention. As Carleon is not home, Ava and William spend a good time together enjoying each other's company. Suddenly, they hear something outside as they try to have a look through the window. Ava thinks it might be snowing, but William is sure it isn't snow, but looks like ashes. Carleon enters the house covered in ashes, and before they can ask her anything, she falls to the ground. At present, Ava wakes up in the car where William informs her about spending the night at a hotel. At night, she tries to cover herself up under the layers of clothes so no one can recognize she is a woman. They go to a restaurant for dinner where the waiter gets suspicious of her. While eating, they hear the news about government research about repopulation methods as most of the women in the world are dead. Two strangers walk into the restaurant and ask to increase the volume of the TV, which announces a reward of $2 million for whoever reports about seeing any females. They think the government needs females for performing science experiments. By listening to this and seeing Ava bleeding, William takes her and they run from the restaurant. One of the two strangers who came earlier says to pay their bill and ask his son. They need to go out to chase them. Back in the car, Will says her condition will get worse each day. She panics and leaves the car, but then decides something and asks him to let her drive. She stops the car and asks Will to come with her to go to the waterfall they always wanted to go. A cut back to the past shows Ava and William take Carleon to the hospital. It's when William discovers the ashes are only affecting women, so he asks Ava to get back home. There, they receive a call from Ava's father who instructs them to use protective equipment and disinfect the house, so they follow. On their way to the waterfall, Ava takes pictures, but William thinks no one will watch them, as there is no other female alive. Back at their house, they realize the severity of the situation when the TV switches off to the emergency broadcast telling that all females are affected, so males are advised to avoid any physical contact with women. The situation only gets worse with each passing day, and the government starts to captivate women at their facilities. By seeing this, William builds a secret compartment under the bed for Ava to hide, in case they are inspected. Ava finds out there have been experiments going on females. There is no news about the riots all over the world, as the survivors have become violent and there are situations of anarchy all over the globe. When Ava tries to talk to other women online, William gets angry and shouts at her for sharing important details which she shouldn't. Millions of women are killed after being affected by the virus HNV-21. Experts think it's the worst pandemic in modern history. With each passing day, the argument between Ava and William only increases as he is not satisfied with how she is dealing with the situation. She talks to the other women through an online portal, but he warns her not to share any information. Ava accepts that she knows he is doing it for her, but she thinks he is a changed person now. Ava's infection gets worse with time and her health deteriorates quickly. When the situation gets worse, William buys a gun for the safety and brings in a medical kit to check if any of them is infected. And he turns out to be the carrier while Ava is still safe. One morning, Ava wakes up and goes to the stream to get some water, while William is attacked by the strangers. These are the same people they saw earlier at the restaurant, who came there by following the map Ava and William left at the restaurant. They point their guns at Williams but can't find Ava. He shouts to warn Ava and instruct her to run away. They chain him with a tree and ask for her again. He tells them that she's sick, but they don't listen to him. So again, he shouts to warn her. They split up and start looking for her. One of them spots her, but she hides behind a rock. As she sits there, suddenly she suffers an attack and faints. At night, the man asks William how he managed to save her while he could not save his wife after following all the precautions. He says he's not a bad person but wants to help the world repopulate. He further says William should have turned her in. At the house, one of the last participants in the group chat tells Ava that she is infected and won't make it far too long, so she and her husband have decided to move away. Ava tries to stop her from going, but she leaves after dropping the last message and saying she will make it. Ava gets worried and starts crying. She gathers the pictures of all the participants and pastes them on the wall. Ava comes back at night and frees William by distracting the boy, but before they can run, the man wakes up, so William fires at him before leaving. At the house, they receive a call from Ava's dad. William thinks they should not pick it up and try to reach him by setting a secure VPN. But Ava says it can be an emergency as he's calling on the phone even though they have decided not to. She insists William let her talk to him at the phone. He agrees, but when they make a call, Ava gets shocked to see her father as he looks miserable. While crying, he tells her they took her mom and he could not save her, so now he just wants to know if she's safe. William asks her not to speak, but she cannot help herself from talking to her father. He snatches the phone from her, but she gets hyper and starts fighting with him. He tries to explain the situation that if she talks on an unsecured line, the government will know about her and take her just like her mother. Furious of the situation, Ava starts crying and shouting at him. She feels their house is like a prison and she wants to go out and see her dad. He tries to explain the situation to her and calm her down, but she points the gun at him and asks him to leave, but she cries after he does so. When he gets outside and sees ashes all over the place, he decides to come back, only to find out she has already left the apartment. He chases her to the roof and gets devastated to see she has removed her protective equipment, but then takes her with him to start the journey, and they eventually make it to the waterfall. The movie ends as they take a picture together in front of the waterfall.